Nut Nerd Podcast, episode 282. You've got mail.
Welcome to the Nut Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
How's it going today?
Did you watch the Godfather trilogy this weekend?
No, I'm the little flying guy on episode 1, the junk dealer guy.
Oh, yes. I know his
remember
name
his
from
name.
Lego Star Wars with my daughter, but I cannot remember it. The Star Wars universe has some unique names.
But he always talks like he's going to throw up.
Yes. Well, we are recording a little later than we usually do, but a little teaser for later. There is some breaking news that happened yesterday, so we will be getting to that shortly. And Followup, Dave, I've got in my hot little hands a little product that I know you're still waiting on, and for our audio-only podcast, I will show you in my high-quality FaceTime camera. I've got some Apple AirTags in my possession.
Wow, those are really shiny. They're
Yes.
like a mirror finish on the back, which is pretty dang cool.
Yeah, so as mentioned last week, I did wake up at 4:55 a.m. Pacific to pre-order mine, and I got a 4-pack. Now, I kind of wussed out a little bit. I got 2 of them engraved, 2 of them just blank, because I am a simple man sometimes. And the 2 I got engraved engraved specifically for my daughter with 2 emoji.
Oh,
the people, Dave. What did I go with?
Well, I see a unicorn and I see the pudding emoji. Isn't that pudding? No, that is the smiling pile of poo emoji.
Yes.
Which
So she was beyond ecstatic just to see the engraving. And then I showed her how they worked, and we actually played the game like we talked about. I had her hide it and then found it. And hey, guess what? It works.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, so I ordered mine several hours after you, and it pushed my date way back. And then I had talked to you a day or so later and said, shoot, I didn't even use my Apple card to buy these, because when you use your Apple credit card to buy Apple products, you get cash back. So I actually canceled the order and reordered them on the card, so now they're even farther back.
How far of a wait time is it on it?
I think it's early June, but I'm not worried about it. It's already the beginning of May. I just have to wait a couple weeks.
And they usually under promise and over deliver, so they will probably.
My guess is they will be in earlier than the expected delivery date. But if not, you know what? I've lived this long without them, and I was cleaning out some of my junk, which you can see behind me. I've basically I'm working on a computer, so I've had to basically take everything out of every drawer and put it everywhere, so I can find my tools and stuff. But I came across a bunch of the tracker that are in the package.
There's one that I have sitting on my desk.
That's never been opened.
Yeah.
So, if I'm desperate, I can always fire up a tracker.
Maybe we'll do a giveaway of some trackers or some of my AirTags. I don't know. I think my daughter believes these will be hers permanently, but I do have 2 more that I can use too. So we'll see how that works out. More importantly, Dave, did you pre-order anything last Friday with the second round of pre-orders from the announcement?
I did, and I actually got up early that time. I was stayed up late enough that night. I was considering, do I just stay up? But no, I decided to go to bed, and my alarm worked this time. It gently woke me up by tapping me on the wrist on my Apple Watch. I woke up, completed my order, and went right back to sleep. So I ordered the new Apple TV. Awesome. Whatever, they don't even have the 4K HD options now. It's just the 4K, and with its awesome new remote control. So I'm excited. The faster processor inside hopefully will make the experience a little bit smoother, a little bit quicker.
Yes.
And never buy a product based on future undisclosed features, but hopefully they're going to do something a little bit better with the game. I
would think so. With the Apple Arcade, it would make sense. I was actually on vacation last week, and that's why we're actually recording later than usual. And I was down in very, very sunny most of the time, Southern California, out in the desert with my family. And my brother came later in the week. He was flying down Thursday, and he was like, hey, I need to get an iPad. Early in the week, he said, I need to get an iPad Pro, but it looks like there's new ones. What's the deal? And I was like, hey, we'll both be down in California. We'll just wake up at 5 a.m. and pre-order them. And we did not do that. I naturally woke up at about 6 a.m. and I was thinking about getting the iPad Pro, and I wish my brother and I should have talked more, as we should in all of our life, because he's a great guy. But he slept in till like 8, and I think he ended up ordering the 11 and the 12.9 because he couldn't figure out which one he wanted. And but I think his said like mid-June that he should be getting his. But
I'm just going to order both of them because I'm not exactly sure. And the ones I don't use, I'll just use as a doorstop.
Exactly. But I think later by the pool, we were talking, and I think he decided that the 11's probably, I mean, he's just basically doing email and some basic stuff on it, and so he probably doesn't even need the Pro, but he wants to have some power there in case he is needing to do more. But I did in my literally just kind of opening my eyes and going, oh, I should order something. I went on and I ordered just 2 new remotes for now, 2 of the Apple TV remotes, because they will work with my Apple TV HD. I don't know why I ordered 2, but that's what happened at 6 a.m. without any planning. And so I should have those, I think, later this month, mid-month or something.
Now, you're not updating your current Apple TV, or are you? Because the new one will come with the remote.
Yes, I did not do that yet. So that, again, I was half asleep, and it's like, well, I'll do 2 of these. Okay. And went back to sleep, or tried to go back to sleep. So it's, I have not made my decision. It would make sense for me to update to the new Apple TV. So maybe here's my hope that never works out, that they'll be so supply constrained that I can sell mine for $200 a piece, the remotes, and then pay for a new Apple TV. Maybe that'll work out this time.
I'm thinking that it probably won't be the case, but here's hoping. It's the hope that kills you, says Ted Lasso.
Yes. Okay, well, let's get on to some other stuff besides the new Apple products that we're ordering. We'd love to hear from you guys if you're ordering anything, guys and gals, and if you get it and what you got and how it's working out for you. We did get iOS 14.5 this last week, which gives people with an Apple Watch the ability to unlock their phone even while wearing a mask, if you're wearing your watch, which is nice. But you found a story, Alibaba, which is kind of a combination of Amazon and eBay, mostly in China, and they have the AliExpress, and they're very huge. But they're also fretting, as the headline says, over the app tracking transparency. Now, if you've updated to 14.5, you're probably getting a lot of notifications when you're opening apps and saying, hey, do you want to give it permission for this, that, which we've seen before, but this is the being able to track between apps and websites and all that. Facebook has been very vocal. Amazon's been, anybody that's in the advertising game has been very vocal about how this is going to make it very tough for businesses to advertise effectively. Now, whether that's the true case, I don't know that that's the case. I strongly believe it's not as detrimental as Facebook wants you to think it is. And the same with Alibaba here too. And, one thing a lot of people might not realize, Amazon, all the tech companies just had their quarterly results, which we'll talk about next. But Amazon, a major part of their advertising their income comes from the advertising, especially all the sponsored stuff on Amazon. And, they advertise stuff on Facebook. They make a lot of money on advertising. So all these companies, it's really interesting, Dave. When you make a lot of money doing something and then somebody changes something that might make it not work so well, and you might not make so much money, they get a little upset by that. It's a strange phenomenon in the business world.
It is. I get frustrated with these companies because every marketing piece, everything they say, every article they're quoted in, are so disingenuous, it just makes me sick. And so they use language like, this is going to hamper our ability to effectively advertise directly to people to get them the products they want. No. All this is going to do is give them less analytics about the customers that they're, taking for free and then selling on the open market to other people and to other advertisers. And to, it may seem like it's this thing, well, you're lowering your effectiveness for us to do our thing, but it's all a smokescreen. It all comes down to the money. What is happening is they're making it harder for you to steal people's data so that you can monetize it. And, we can have arguments all day long about whose data is it, who does it belong to? Would you rather have targeted ads? Would you rather not? But they are not having anything taken away that belongs to them. Yes. Like they don't have.
Yes.
It's not like someone went into their country and stole their goods or took over their land or took over their government. No, they're closing off data privacy. They're closing some data privacy windows, and they're mad about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's all about the money. Anyway, I could go on and on about this. It just frustrates me that they're snowing the entire world thinking that they're the victims in this when they are the perpetrators to begin with, and people are standing up and saying no.
Yes. No, I agree. It's all marketing speak for their advertising stuff, and people will always need to advertise and market, so they'll figure out a way to do it. And I'm sorry if money is a little harder for you to make, because there's a lot of people over the last year that have had much more difficult times making money and stuff. So I agree. And speaking of, Big Tech made a lot of money last year.
Yeah, they did.
Amazon, Apple, Alphabet, Google's parent company, Microsoft, and Facebook last year combined yearly revenue $1.2 trillion, and more than 25% higher than the figure before that. And in this New York Times article, it says, in less than a week, those five giants make more in sales than McDonald's does in a year, just to give you a little perspective.
Wow.
But yeah, it's crazy. Those companies are making plenty of money. They just did their quarterly results. They were all up for the last quarter, and Apple had record sales, and they are all doing very well. And I did think I will remind people we are the most nonpartisan tech podcast on the internet, but you have these five massive companies that make $1.2 trillion, and then you look at what our government has spent on COVID response and stuff in the last year, and it's like all five of these companies together, all of their revenue couldn't cover 25% of the different programs we've had and stuff. But I was reading an article last week. It is so hard for us to have any mental capacity to understand $1 trillion. It's just, most of us, Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, if you're listening, you have a concept, Tim Cook.
Well, the numbers are so big, it's hard to fathom. There was this probe that they sent to the sun, that NASA sent out towards the sun, and they were talking about all these records that it had broken. It broke its own record for the fastest object created by humans, and the object that's closest to the sun, and they're talking about hundreds of millions of miles and stuff, and all these things, and you're just like, I can't tell, is that close, is that far away? I mean, it seems far, it seems fast, I don't know. There's nothing to compare it to, really.
Yeah, it's hard to have perspective on that stuff. Our next piece of follow-up, this one back from the archives, the Apple versus Epic trial has begun this week.
Finally started, and I'm excited for it to be finished 6 years from now.
Yes, and the Fortnite, this is the whole Fortnite thing, and there's actually something else going on with Apple right now in the European Union with Spotify. So there's going to be, this could mean some massive changes for Apple and their ecosystem and how the App Store works. And like we talked about before, it's kind of hard to know what the right thing is, but there's a lot of information being revealed just in the court documents and everything, giving some insights, into these companies and what they've been trying to do, and some Apple stuff of, some of these emails of, do we still take the 30% cut, or do we just give up on that, and all this stuff? And so we'll see how it shakes out and what comes from it. But
yeah, they've already talked about some information that has leaked out of the documents Well, I mean, not that it's leaked. They've had to put it forward for the court proceedings. But a new character might be coming to Fortnite, a Nintendo character, Samus Aran from the Metroid series. But because the name was mentioned in some email correspondence. And so that's just one example of other industry secrets that might be popping out of here as time goes on. But, not that it matters, but I'm on Apple's side on this one, and other people are on Epic's side. So we shall just sit and eat popcorn and watch this whole thing unfold.
Yes, it seems, and I saw some recap of yesterday's things, and it seems like the main theme for both Spotify and Epic, and the conversation is about the 30-70 revenue split. That Apple takes 30%, and what right do they have to take 30%? Well, it is pretty much an industry standard, and they've made some changes, and other people are adjusting. And people are like, well, what do they even do? They have some servers and they have an app store, and it's like, no, they make crazy good products that people want so badly.
Research and development. And the elephant in the room is Epic has its own software store, which it charges a percentage to the games that are in there for people to buy. I'm just like, well, is Epic's own store exactly like the App Store? I think that it is.
Yes. We were talking, I think it was last week, about Google Meet and how they're finally adding some new features. Well, Zoom is adding a feature that I don't know why it's important. They're doing immersive view to unify participants in the same virtual room. So if you've watched an NBA game last year where they had all the screens where you could zoom in and be on there, this is very similar to that. It looks like a very sterile classroom, and then you have these little heads and shoulders of everybody in the meeting, all differently lighted. I don't know where this helps, but
what's creepy about it is that the people are absurdly low. The desk
they look
that they
like
have,
little kids, and
the desk comes up to about their throat area, and it's just their head and shoulders above the. It's very strange.
Yes,
nobody sits at a desk like that.
So I don't know why I mentioned that, but I'm always glad to mention Dave's pro tip of the week.
Well, out of the virtual cut-off heads floating in a room to hopefully nobody's heads floating in actual meat space while they're driving their car, we're going to discuss today a feature that is relatively new to Apple users in their iPhones. And this, of course, is how to report speed checks, traffic accidents, and other hazards in Apple Maps. You found this article on Mac Rumors, and we're going to discuss it today. Now, Google Maps, Waze Maps, other mapping programs have for years allowed you to report an accident if there's a hazard in the road, or maybe more useful or more important, the speed check if there's a policeman up ahead. And Apple's kind of been just silent on this, or maybe there's been some tests in different markets, but now this is rolling out, at least to people in the US. I read through the comments. There are people in other areas of the world, like Canada, I don't think has this yet. Maybe some parts of Canada do, other parts of the world, but at least in the US, you can now, when you're driving along, please, eyes on the road, you can use Siri to activate this, and you can say, hey Siri, there's an accident. And it will just log your location and the time and put it on the map. And of course, you don't have the power of Thor here to just make everything happen. There has to be corroborating evidence from other Apple Map users that there is an accident or a speed trap or something in this area. You can also do this by pressing the little chevron icon in the bottom right corner. It's on that little card that pops up.
Oh, yeah.
And the piece that is a little bit interesting, in order to do this, you have to have your map set on a destination. So let's say I'm going to work and I set it, and while I'm driving, this feature appears. But if I'm sitting at home just surfing maps and notice that on the news there's something on I-5 at Wilsonville, I can't just go into my maps and report that. I have to physically be at that location. And I actually agree with this, because people would just put up all kinds of stuff just randomly and kind of muddy the waters. And so you have to be driving in a vehicle with your map destination set, and you can either evoke this through voice or tap the command and make it happen. Now, Nate, have you used features like this in the past on other applications?
Yes, I used to use Waze specifically for this stuff when I was doing more driving and stuff, just so I could get a little more accurate crowdsourced data on what was going on. I have not used this one yet. I will take a quick sidestep. And we had a rental Chrysler Pacifica minivan down in California this last week, and it was my first real usage of CarPlay in the car with my phone. And man, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, and this is compatible with CarPlay. So if you have that feature on your console, it does work with that. But just kind of a recap. You get in your car, you set a destination, you drive along, and if you notice something, you ask the lady in your phone, you just say, "Hey Siri, there's an accident," or "Hey Siri, there's a hazard," or "Hey Siri, there's a speed check," and she will know what you're talking about and mark that. Conversely, you can hit the bottom right corner. There's a little downward facing arrow, or I think it's an upward facing arrow, and you tap it and it'll bring the card up, and there's an icon that says specifically report, and it's a kind of a voice box icon with an exclamation point in it, and then you will see the accident, hazard, or speed check options on your phone, and they're just big buttons. You can just tap them, or I mean your passenger can just tap them.
Yes. Yeah. Very cool. Well, let's move on to our takes. I teased it earlier. We waited to record the episode because yesterday it was announced. You know, we love to cover all tech-related relationship news. Bill and Melinda Gates announced they're getting divorced.
Now, I saw this headline on Reddit yesterday. I thought it was just some spoof. I thought this was a joke, like somebody's making a joke. So this is really happening, huh?
Yeah. They put out I think they put it out on Instagram or concurrent posts on their personal Twitter pages.
Why wouldn't they put it on LinkedIn? Doesn't Microsoft own LinkedIn?
Yeah. So just a very interesting, I mean, they've been married for 27 years, 3 kids, and Adam Carolla always says the key to a healthy marriage is plenty of square footage and 2 DVRs. Well, they have a mansion beyond mansions up in Washington. I'm sure they own homes and everything around the world, but they said, you know, respect our privacy or whatever the common thing. But, you know, with what they've done, obviously with Bill Gates did Microsoft, and she actually worked there for a long time. And then what they've done around the world with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which apparently they're going to keep doing. So kind of a weird one. We don't cover a lot of relationships, and I'm no relationship expert. But yeah, it's there's a lot of money to be split up. They've given away a lot of their money, but just kind of one of those ones where you go, oh, okay, well, there you go. Hope it works out for you.
Yeah, I'm sad for them, but I mean, they obviously are adults and know what they're doing.
Yes.
Yeah,
they might know their relationship better than we do. I guess that's should be our preface on that one.
Yeah, and it's notable that the Gates family is the country's largest private owner of farmland. They've been gobbling up farmland left and right over the years. What they're going to do with that farmland, I have no idea. And it probably has something to do with the Gates Foundation, whether it's to provide food, mechanize a farm so that they can produce food at a cheap price or something like that. Who knows? Or maybe they're just very smart and they're investing in real estate, which is... that's where you get all the money, like in Spaceballs. Real estate, I think, was the big thing that they... It was merchandising, I guess. Merchandising and real estate, that's where the big money is made.
Yes, and he has been very vocal that we need to get away from eating meat, which I do not agree with at all, but so that probably has to play into the farmland for his mission to get us away from eating meat, which before I go too far down the rabbit hole, we will move on to the next story, because it is exciting. AOL still has 1.5 million
You've got mail
paying customers now.
And they're dying every single day because they're 900 years old. But please continue. I interrupted.
Yes, these are the 1.5 million. They have technical support and identity theft software. They have said that the dial-up subscribers is now in the low thousands, which is still crazy.
Why do they even still offer it?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And the reason why this news is coming out, and we were just talking about Yahoo and their new Yahoo Plus, Apollo Global Management is paying $5 billion for Verizon Media Group, which houses Yahoo and AOL. So it's all changing hands once again. And how it's worth $5 billion, who knows? But AOL's still out there.
This is like a bad penny that just keeps turning up.
Yes.
Like, why do companies want to buy these properties? Why don't they just kill them? I mean,
don't know.
Google has bought so many great companies, used the technology, and just killed them like they're yesterday's news. And AOL and Yahoo keep getting passed around and resurrected at every turn. I don't understand, because these aren't good services is the difference here. Anyway, it's very strange.
It is very strange, and I already gave our partisan disclaimer, but Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who seems to be all over the news in a lot of ways lately, he has been working on a ban on deplatforming of political entities by tech companies. So this goes back to the whole Section 230 and what they can and can't do. Now, I was listening to This Week in Tech from Sunday, and they were discussing this, and they understand this stuff much better than I, and they say that it looks like this will be unconstitutional, but because he's doing this, it'll probably go to the Supreme Court, so we will actually get some sort of decision on where these protections lie, and I definitely think that the Section 230 needs to change, but whether this is part of that or not, I have no expertise on, but at least it'll keep that conversation going of how much power these tech companies have, and kind of what they can and can't do.
No, I have a question.
Yes.
How can a Florida government levy fines against a California company for doing something? I don't understand.
Well, because they operate in their state.
But they could certainly say, we're not going to operate in your state anymore. And do they really operate? I mean, there are Florida customers who have these accounts, but do they have offices and any ties to the state?
Well, then how can the European Union make laws against American companies for websites, all those cookie things?
Right. And what I would say, as an American company, you don't have to comply. The worst thing that can happen is they'll just shut your
service off.
They'll shut your service off. And so is Florida just going to... Anyway, I just don't understand. It's like me saying, I don't like drivers in Washington driving too fast, and I'm just gonna say, well, if you drive too fast in Washington, even though I'm in Oregon, I'm gonna sue you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fine you, and they'll be like, what? You're not even in my state, and one, you're not even a government, and two, who are you?
Yes.
It just seems weird. It doesn't. It's not matching up for me. But I obviously need to understand more how a state can levy fines against a company in another state.
Yes.
The federal government
I'm trying
could.
to think. Well, I'm thinking with one of my clients that we sell products, some very nice hammers, and navigating sales tax law. Yeah. And my understanding with sales tax law, it depends how much of a presence you have in that state. So if, let's say, Michigan, if you do $100,000 of sales in Michigan, you have to pay sales tax there. So maybe it kind of works like that, where, I mean, obviously Facebook and Twitter have major presences everywhere. But yes, I do not understand this law, and that's why it'll go to court, and hopefully the lawyers the courts understand law, which sometimes I question.
And I know both of these companies like money, but you know what I would do if I were either one of these CEOs? I would immediately turn off all traffic from any IP address that originates in Florida.
Well, that's like what Facebook did with Australia with that whole thing that we talked about a little while ago. They just said, it's turned off. And I
wouldn't even wait. I wouldn't even wait for it to become law. I would just do it and say, we're done. You don't even have to do your votes.
Don't worry about it. We got it figured out for you. Yes. That's a good one. Well, speaking of Facebook, This is kind of an interesting play and got me thinking about how this partnership could work out. Facebook introduces a new mini player that streams Spotify from the Facebook app. So if you're scrolling through your Facebook feed and you want to listen to your podcast or control your music or whatever, with Spotify, that's rolling out now. And I just thought it was interesting because it's, Facebook and Spotify teaming up. That would be pretty powerful in, taking on other media streaming companies and Apple Music and all of that stuff. So I haven't seen it yet in mine. You can do like the video mini player, like if you're watching a video on Facebook and then start scrolling, it'll go down to the corner, but now it's going to be integrated, and it's free and premium Spotify users. So both on iOS and Android.
And you have to ask yourself, well, what is Facebook getting out of all of this? Spotify is getting more plays, more eyeballs, and more everything. What is Facebook getting? Well, I'll tell you, they're getting all of your data. Every single bit of data about any song you play, what time of day you play that song, everything, who you share it with, they're gathering all that information. So I will warn those who are privacy conscious to maybe look at their terms of service and exactly what they're doing with this. But I can guarantee you it's not just so that it's easier for you to listen to Spotify. Facebook is getting something out of the deal.
And I'm sure Spotify is paying them a nice pretty penny to get this exposure, and then it's got a built-in share to Facebook. So if you're listening to something, you go, "Ooh, I need to share this with the world," you can easily share it to Facebook and then give Facebook more data and get more eyeballs on Facebook and all of that stuff so that they can keep making more money.
Yeah. And then Apple's going to come along and say, "This is unfair. You're not letting Apple Music in there." No, that won't happen.
More court stuff. Oh, quick. Let's move on to our bonus odd take. And this one I've been sitting on for a while. We have sung the praises of having multiple displays and how nice it is to have two monitors when you're working. Well, a company called Expanscape has a prototype of a 7-screen laptop.
What?
This thing is just comical. I mean,
this is ridiculous.
It is. I saw this and I was like, oh man. So it's the size of a large briefcase, but then you just start unfolding and unfolding and unfolding, and you got your main screen and a screen above it, and then two wings fly out that each have a couple screens on them, and there's even a screen down below the keyboard, it looks like. I mean, this thing is just comical, and they do say on there, contact us for serious inquiries.
How do they keep it from tipping over? But it reminds me of like some Looney Tunes cartoon where maybe the Martian guy is going to shoot somebody and he pulls out this gun and it gets bigger, and then the scope comes out and it gets bigger, and pretty soon he's got like a cannon or something that came out of a little type of pistol. This thing just is like origami, just unfolds and unfolds and unfolds. Oh, it's so silly.
A beast of a laptop. Now, I could see that, there would be some use case somewhere for this, for people that need all this stuff, but
what?
I don't see Apple following suit in this product. I mean, if you were let's say you're doing a movie shoot on location and you need to do, I don't know. I take it back. You don't need 7 screens.
No, well, nobody needs a portable station like this.
Yeah.
Either do it where you are, or
maybe a scientist that's doing research in
out in
Antarctica.
The field. Yeah, maybe. I could see it being
This is
convenient.
a little past the point of necessity, I would say.
No, I think you're hitting on something. If there is a remote type of scientific thing in a jungle or in Antarctica where it's hard to get stuff in and out, then this could be useful. But for the everyman or the business person or whatever, come on, this is silly.
No, yes, yeah. Walk into Starbucks with this thing. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. It says battery life, screens only, 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Battery life, system and screen, 1 hour. Battery life, system and screen with all the stuff, using everything, 28 minutes.
They forgot to tell you that you have to bring 6 car batteries with you.
Yes, a truck-sized generator to power the thing. But I thought that was a fun one to take a look at.
That's great.
good products there. Just a prototype, so they don't have them at Best Buy. But you know what else are always great products? Our picks of the week.
So I have dabbled with Xbox Game Pass in the past. This is an evolving system from Microsoft and their Xbox platform. It started out where you have to have Game Pass and to play online with other people, and you can get a free game each month or a couple free games each month. If you claim them, they're part of your account, and you can play them whenever you want, digital copies of these games. And then they've kind of expanded it for the next iteration of Xboxes, where it was more of like a rental. Like if you close your account or if you stop paying, you don't get to play your games. It's kind of like they're available to you, but you don't really get to play them. And now they've got this whole system that's this cloud gaming and this Game Pass conglomeration where you can, if you have one of the newer Xbox consoles, you can sign up and you have access for a few dollars a month to over 100 games that you can play anywhere, anytime you want. And so I'm going to talk about that today because I have done this before, but I recently re-signed up for this Xbox Game Pass with cloud gaming. And we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
The cloud gaming piece is my pick of the week because for $1, I signed up for Game Pass Ultimate, which includes PC cloud gaming.
Wow.
Which also includes an Android app that you can download and on your Android devices play these streaming games. I have some very old and underpowered Android type tablets. The experience was not good, but it did work. But the real reason I did it is on Macs or PCs, but on Macs with Safari browsers, you can also do this. And so, all that out of the way, this is in beta. You have to have the $15 a month Game Pass subscription. They have a few different tiers, and I'll just mention those real quick. And it is notable that there's Game Pass for your Xbox and there's Game Pass for PCs. And so that's where these tiers align themselves with. You can just get PC, you can just get console, or you can get Ultimate, which is PC and consoles. And this is where you will find the streaming. So for the console, $9.99 a month. And you get access to over 100 games. New games are added all the time. Xbox Studio games, when they release those titles, are available immediately for digital play, and you get other member discounts and deals. If you get the PC version, same type of deal. It also includes EA Play, which is a library of electronic arts titles. So you get extra if you just do the PC version. You get extra games. And then there's the Ultimate for $14.99 a month. You get over 100 games, all this stuff, everything. Exclusive perks and discounts and all those things. And play games on your Android mobile phone and tablet from the cloud. And this will be coming. I did not try it on my iPhone, but potentially I could use my Safari browser on my iPhone to make this work. So if you're interested at all, this is a great time to try it out. $1 for 1 month to try all this stuff out, and then it's $14.99 per month thereafter. They even have a deal, and I won't bother to look it up, but you can get an Xbox console plus Game Pass Ultimate, and you pay a monthly fee, like $34, $40 a month, whatever, and you get the hardware, and you get the streaming service, and you just pay it off over 2 years, and it's less than the price of both of those at retail. So it's a good deal if you want to do that. And I actually have considered it, but I know myself, and I would still want to buy games for some reason, even though I get 100 free games to play on the thing. So anyway, that was a long pick of the week, but the Xbox cloud streaming, now's the time to try it out. It's in beta and easy to set up and try.
Very nice. Well, my pick of the week is kind of a different upgrade pick. Back on episode 64, everyone will remember that I picked an app called Untappd, which is it's actually it's an app, and they kind of have a big social aspect to it. But what it does is it is where I track any beer that I drink. Now, I enjoy beverage every once in a while, a lot less beer since I changed the way I eat. But I really put a lot of value in trying different beers. If it was up to me, I would try a different beer every time I, go to a restaurant or a brewery or any of that stuff. Well, I also do not have the mental capacity to remember which beers I've tried. And
that mental capacity goes down the more beers you drink.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So for a long time, I've used Untappd, and I just keep track of the beers in there. Well, I also enjoy trying different whiskeys and bourbons and all rye, all the different stuff there. And I realized as I try more different ones, again, zero mental capacity to remember. So I was like, hey, maybe there's an app for this, and there's ones for just about anything. We've talked about video game ones for tracking that stuff. Well, I found one called Distiller.
I hardly know her.
And the nice things about these apps, you can go in there, and with Distiller, you open it up, you search for whatever whiskey you're drinking. I think you can maybe even take a picture, scan the barcode, and it'll pull it up, and you can put in notes. I don't do that because I'm just like, yeah, it's a good whiskey. But, if you're really into tracking the different notes and flavors and all of that stuff. But for me, it's just simply go in there, search it, find it. You can give a rating 0 to 5. And so I just put something in there just to keep track of this stuff because I'm a big fan of getting stuff with limited mental capacity and diminishing mental capacity. Anything that I can get out of my head and just record it somewhere if I ever need to find it again, or if I'm ever interested to know, oh yeah, I have tried that one before, I'll try something different. But yeah, Distiller, and again, anything, I've tried a wine one before, but they have these massive databases where everything's in there, so you're not having to put all the information in.
You just scan the barcode or take a picture of the label or whatever.
Yeah, and then it puts it in there for you, and crowdsource. If you happen to find one that nobody else has tried before, you can add one in. But yeah, it's drink responsibly, or don't drink at all. But if you want to keep track of what you're drinking, you can do that with Distiller or Untappd for beers, Vino or something for the wine one. But
now I have a couple of follow-up questions on this.
Yes.
And one statement. Over the past 3 weeks, I have drank 2 beers, my friend,
Whoa.
at 2 different locations. I know. I need to slow down.
Yes.
But so this intrigues me because I'm a little sad that I forgot about this distilled app. I could have, or this the beer one, the Untappd. I could have added those 2 beers.
You could have been getting, and they have all kinds of badges and bonuses and local deals and all this stuff. It's but yeah, just to keep track of what you've had to drink and all 5 beers per year that you consume.
Yeah, and the other thing, the question I had, does Distiller do beer also?
No, I was kind of hoping. I looked in Untappd to see if they did liquor. It would be great if there was just an alcohol one, but Distiller does all kinds of liquor, so not just whiskey. It does, whatever it is. But somebody needs to come out with the one, because there's a good chance if you want to do this with beer, you might also want to do it with liquor and wine.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. I did not find one in my 2 minutes of searching that does everything for you.
I think maybe that there has to be 3 separate apps to contain the entire amount of the world's alcohol options. Is kind of a little telling that maybe our society has a drinking problem.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's pretty crazy. You know what else is sometimes crazy? Our Amazon purchase of the week. We love it when you guys use our links to shop on Amazon. We love shopping on Amazon. And then I go into that anonymous report. And this one could have been you, Dave, because I know that you're a big fan of kitchen gadgets. And your family does some cooking here and there. This is the
What?
Careful, Nate. Veggie spiral vegetable cutter makes veggie pasta. So this looks very, there's the badge as seen on TV.
Okay.
And so it's that type of product. Turn veggies into healthy spaghetti. Now, we have done some squash spaghetti, and we've tried a couple different things to make the pure enriched flour-based pastas. But I just sent you over a picture there. It's a little handheld device where you put the vegetable in, and then it's basically a grater, but it's,
Now, I don't have the one that's the veggie. I have the panetti one, but not the veggie one. I'm scared to get them together. So this was not me. This is an interesting product, and the seal of quality as seen on TV. Oh, it's there. It's going to be good.
It's got to be good.
Yeah, it's got to be good. Yeah, yes. No, we do not create any type of foods from scratch typically.
Yes. No.
We do have a bread maker where you throw in some ingredients and then wait a little while and then bread happens. But no, this seems a little bit too aggressive for our family to create pasta.
Yes, and I will tell you, you and the listeners, before you come up with the price, that it has 4.5 stars on 9,300 ratings. And looking at the related products, you can get like a big countertop one with the crank on it. This is just a handheld, looks like a cup with a little grater in there, so you can the cucumber or whatever you have to put in there to make your noodles out of. It is Amazon Prime free one day. But Dave, what would you pay for the veggie on name alone?
Just to get the piece of cardboard that has the name printed on it, would be worth much. But we're talking about the product and not the trademark. So this thing, I have purchased a fair amount of kitchen utensils. I bought my wife some Pampered Chef stuff a while back, and kind of have an idea of how much some of this stuff can cost. I'm thinking this product is a $19.99 product. I can't see people paying more than that.
Well, Dave, you're in luck. It is $9.99.
Wow.
Yes.
I could buy 2 of them.
Yes, and I am looking at the related products. The spiralizer seems to be the name brand. That's the countertop one with the hand crank and everything. That one, the 7-blade spiralizer, that one has 4.5 stars on 23,000 reviews. That one's $23.72. So yeah, you're kind of in the range there. But yeah, $9.99. So if you purchase this and are making some veggie pasta, let us know how it works. Invite us over for dinner, and we will try it out with you. And a quick bit of follow-up from last week. We got a text message from sometimes guest friend, all of that fan of the show. It was Mr. Todd Workhoven that purchased the money gun, and he actually posted a video in our Facebook group or page, one of the 2 on Facebook there. And the reason why he bought it is he has nieces and nephews. And I forget which birthday it is, he always finds a creative way to give them a gift of money. And so for this, I believe it is his niece in the video, he decided to give her a stack of ones in the money gun, and it looked like maybe it was her mom or somebody that was trying to shoot it. It was not as impressive as you would hope it would be.
They just kind of fall out the end.
Yeah. There was a little bit of shooting, but it was not the consistent shower of money that you would hope for. But Todd, always one to be super creative, found a very unique way to present money instead of just jamming something into a birthday card. So thanks for the follow-up on that, Todd. And you can go watch the video on Facebook.
And he can use it when he goes out on the town. If he goes to certain bars, he can just shoot ones at people.
Yes, as I'm sure he often does. Well, we have talked at you much long enough. We're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you for listening. Thanks for sharing with a friend. Now get out there and tech better.
Goodbye.